everybody, welcome to my channel. So I'm Shelly, and I am so glad that y'all are here today to join me. As you can tell, I've already started my YouTube channel, but I wasn't sure what direction I wanted to go with it. And the longer I thought, the more I realized that what I really want is to use this as a vlog, as a video journal. And I've been documenting my journey so far on Twitter, X, if you want to call it that. And I thought, you know what? There's so much more that I want to say, and there's so much more that I want to share with everybody that's following me. So here I am. My name is Shelly, and I am new to Carnivore. I started about 8 weeks ago, and I have fallen in love with the lifestyle. So a little bit about me and my background. I'm 53 years old, or 53 years young. I'm single, and I was married for 23 years. I have 3 beautiful children. They're all adults now, and I have 4 grandchildren. And so my entire life, I have struggled with my weight. And I'm sure there's a lot of you out there that can relate to that. I know that we all have struggled with something over our lives, and such a large majority of people struggle with their weight nowadays. There are so many outside influences, and the food is just becoming awful. And so throughout my life, I have been on every diet. I have tried every weight loss plan. I have tried every fitness plan, pills and shakes and diet plans. And I've never done Weight Watchers, but that's about the only one I haven't done. But I've been heavy since I was 6 years old. I started gaining weight when I was 6, and it just kept going. I've always managed to be able to keep it under somewhat of control. I was always about under 200 pounds most of my life until I had children. And that is when I really shot up. I shot up to about 260 until 5 years ago. I'm sorry. Right before the pandemic happened. And then once the pandemic happened, I gained like 60 pounds. So I ended up being 330 pounds, and I felt terrible. I was exhausted all the time. I was very fortunate I was not on any medications, but I was pre-diabetic. I am in perimenopause, so that added a fun little layer to the whole thing. And those hormones can really mess with you. But I was living a sedentary lifestyle. I was eating mostly plant-based. I was raised a vegetarian, but the past couple of years, I really started to struggle with depression and anxiety, and I started eating my feelings like crazy. And so that was kind of the nail in the coffin, so to speak. That's what really got me feeling sick, and I was lightheaded and dizzy all the time, and I couldn't even take a shower, and I would, have to sit down afterward and wait to dry off because my heart would be pounding, and I would feel dizzy like I was going to pass out. It was a scary time. It was a really scary feeling, and I blamed everything on perimenopause. And it wasn't until a friend of mine told me about Carnivore, and he was saying, "Oh yeah, I've done Carnivore several times, and I've always felt so good doing it. And I don't eat vegetables, and I don't eat fruit." And I remember thinking, you're bonkers. That is bananas. How can you not eat fruit and vegetables? Where are you getting all your nutrients from? And he used to just kind of chuckle, and he said, hey, I'm not going to try and push you or bully you or convince you, but here's my experience. And so he sent me a podcast of a carnivore influencer, and I watched this podcast, and it was like a switch flipped. And I came home. I was walking that day. I had just started walking, trying to get some exercise because like most of us in the past, we believed, restrict calories and move your body more. That was always the stigma of how to lose weight or how to get healthy. So I was out there walking and hurting. My whole body hurt. I came home after listening to that podcast on my walk, and I had some steak in the freezer. So I defrosted the steak, made some steak and eggs, and that was it. By day 3, I started researching more, and then by day 3, I was completely 100% carnivore. Day 4, that was tough. Day 4, I went through some massive withdrawals, big time carb withdrawals. My brain was screaming for carbs, and I stuck through it. I was really proud of myself. I stuck through it, but it was a really tough transition for me. I am kind of a rip off the Band-Aid kind of girl. I really just jump into everything with both feet. That just that's how I do things. And my entire life, every time I've tried to lose weight or to get healthy, it's always failed. And it was so discouraging. And so when I started carnivore, I thought, yeah, this is just going to be another thing. And I'm going to try it for a while, and then it's going to fail. And then I'm going to be stuck fat and sick. And this is my life. And it could not be further from the truth. I cannot even describe. And I know that those of you out there that have tried low carb, zero carb, meat forward ways of eating can attest to this. It has changed in just eight short weeks. It has changed my life immensely. Just a short list of things I've noticed. My energy level is through the roof. My optimism is back. My bubbly personality is back. I feel hope again. My mental health is so much better, you guys. Like, I don't get depressed anymore. When something bad happens, I just kind of process it and move on. I don't ruminate over it and feel like it's the end of the world, and then I get anxiety and panic attacks. And I was getting so many panic attacks, you guys. It was terrible. I felt stuck in my house. I felt stuck. I couldn't leave. Everywhere I went, it was just scary. And the world is such a scary place right now. And so it just compounded everything. And I realized that eating this way within a week, I started feeling better. And I was like, wait a minute, after about a week, no way, a week? I couldn't believe it. I can't even describe. I wish I could have shown you guys how I was before. But I had no energy. I was just hopeless. I was absolutely hopeless. And now I get excited when I wake up, and I look forward to the day, and I look forward to what's next in my journey. My physical self has changed a lot as well. I don't get heart palpitations anymore. I don't feel dizzy anymore. I don't get lightheaded. My joints are starting to feel a lot better, which is wonderful because I've been walking, and I do go swimming when I can at the pool here in my apartment complex. And other things that have been amazing for me, my blood glucose. I have been tracking my sugars and my ketones. And I do have a video here on my channel that has the device that I use and all the supplies that I got. And I don't get any affiliation or anything with them. I just wanted to share with everybody. And I think for me, that was the key. That was the absolute key to success. Because after the initial weight loss, I lost 17 pounds in 18 days. And I was like, yes, okay, this is awesome. Maybe this will work. And then I stalled for like 12 days. Nothing. Nada. And I was getting so frustrated. I was, like, see, I told you this doesn't work. This isn't going to work. But I didn't give up. I kept posting in the carnivore group I'm in on Twitter, and I kept talking to people, and I kept talking to AI, and I kept asking AI, okay, this, plugging in information and trying to fine tune everything. And I'll tell you guys, it wasn't until I stopped focusing on weight loss. That was the key for me personally, that I twisted things around. And instead of focusing on the weight loss, I started focusing on my sugars and my ketones. And I was like, okay, I can't change my weight right this minute, but I can do something to affect my blood glucose, the way my body responds to food, and my ketones. So I started learning all about ketones and fat adaptation and what that meant. And what I found was the reason I wasn't losing weight is because my liver had not been trained to use fat as energy. It was still looking for carbs. It was still like, I don't know what's going on. I've been fed carbs for your whole life, and now all of a sudden you're not giving me any carbs. And so I did more research, and with the help of my ChatGPT and Grok, I ended up learning how to flood my body with fat. And I did that I started tracking my sugars. I did morning fasting before each meal, and I ate twice a day. I still do. And 1 hour after each meal and 2 hours after each meal. And then I paid attention to what I was eating, and then how my insulin was reacting to the food that I was eating. And at first, when I first started tracking, I started tracking on April 1st, April Fool's Day. And I was like, I didn't even have ketones hardly that first couple of days that I started tracking. It was so low, and my sugars were still pretty high. I was tracking up in like the 110s, 120s when I woke. And then they would kind of stay high and not really any ketones. And so I would tweak and I would talk to my AI, and I'd be like, okay, what am I doing? Here's what I ate. What do I need to do? And I ended up going up to about 180 grams of fat per day, which I know it seems like a lot, right? Especially those of us who have been indoctrinated to believe that, no, cut out the fat, no fat. Well, that's wrong. Our body needs fat. Our body needs fat to survive and to thrive. So I started flooding my body with fat. I took my protein level down to around 85 grams per day. And I did that for about a week. My glucose numbers started going down and my ketones started going up, you guys. And then I started getting into like a moderate state of ketosis, and I was like really excited. And so I kept doing it, and I kept tweaking everything and focusing on trying to get enough fat. That was kind of hard for me at first, trying to get enough fat, because my brain was so trained to like get protein. And I'm like, no, I need to eat all this protein. No, you need to eat more fat, at least for me and for most people, especially if you are not fat adapted, if you are insulin resistant. This is what you need to do. You have to retrain your body. And you have to start healing your body from the inside. And once you become fat adapted, and once you start living in ketosis, that's when the magic happens, you guys. So by the second week, I started being in moderate ketosis on a consistent basis. I was really excited. And I dropped 3 pounds, and it was like it started churning again. And I was like, yes. So, I just kept doing it. I kept ignoring that little voice in the back of my head that said, don't eat so much fat. And I instead shoved the fat in. Like, I was eating fat. I made butter bombs, and I was drinking butter broth, and I was doing everything I could, eating fatty meats. I eat a lot of ground chuck roast, chuck eye steak, ribeyes if you can afford it. I can't, so I eat a lot of chuck. But, and I was just really focusing on getting all that fat in my body. And it's been since April 1st. And I was, like I said, I was barely in ketosis. Now, I have dialed back on the fat a little bit. I still look for around 150 to 160 grams of fat per day, and my protein is around 100 grams. And I have been consistently losing. I am now 298. So I finally went under 300 pounds. I'm back in the 200s again for the first time in 3 years. So excited. And I am now in a constant state of high therapeutic ketosis. And you don't necessarily need to be up in therapeutic ketosis. Even moderate ketosis is wonderful. And you will burn fat. Your body will eat that fat up like it's going out of style. It will just be like, you know, it's looking for it. Your liver is like, give me fat, give me fat. So, but even then, I get so excited when I take my glucose readings now. Most of the time, it's under 100 when I wake up, I do my waking fasting, and my ketones are always 2 or above. And so I'm always in, even when I eat. If my glucose goes up a little bit, that's normal. Your insulin's going to go up a little bit as you eat. Don't let that panic you. It goes up, but what matters really is how quickly it comes down after you eat. And that's why the post-meal testing is so important. So that's what I've been doing, you guys. I'm still learning a ton of stuff. I haven't even perfected yet what I do nutritionally, but I'm tweaking it every day and I'm trying new things every day. But every time I test, my body is still in ketosis. My liver is still producing ketones. And what that means is that I am fully fat adapted. So that's very exciting for me. And that's what you want to see. I have not completely reversed my prediabetes yet. That will probably take another 6 weeks until my metabolism is healed, until it's healed. And that's the key. So you're still going to see a little bit of ups and downs. That's still going to happen. But you can't let it discourage you, because if it's staying consistent, if you're still getting ketones and your sugars are still kind of wavering like this instead of going up and down like this, you're healing. You are healing. And that is the key. That is the key to everything. It doesn't have any, I mean, yes, obviously it has something to do with weight, but in the scheme of things, the focus needs to be on health, not on weight loss. So many people are killing themselves at the gym and running miles and miles and working out 20, 30 hours a week and going crazy and restricting calories. And their body is like, whoa, no, that's not how I'm supposed to work. Because when you restrict your calories and when you don't give your body what it needs, your liver's like, hold on, I don't trust that I'm going to get more fat. So I'm going to hold on to the fat I have for an emergency. And so you go into what's called like a starvation mode, and your body slows down, your metabolism down. You don't burn as many calories. You don't burn off as much of that fat because it's not sure when it's going to get more fat again. So that's why the secret is flood it with fat. Give it all the fat it needs. It will use it all, you guys. It will use it all. So the biggest piece of advice I could give you starting, and like I said, I am no expert, but I'm learning just like everybody else. But I am I love to research, and I love to figure things out. I love to figure out how things work. I'm a puzzle solver, and I hyperfixate on it, and then I'm like, I have to figure this out. And that's what I've been doing. And there's so much conflicting information out there. It's really hard to understand what the right thing to do is. And it's not the same for everybody. There never is a one size fits all, ever. But so my biggest recommendation to you, if you're just starting out, either in a keto or a ketovore or a carnivore lifestyle, and I don't call it a diet because it's not a diet, it's a lifestyle. You can't go into changing your entire life and then go back to the way you were before, or you will go back to the person you were before and you will get sick again. This has to be a life change. You have to choose health and life over food. And that's just how it goes. But so my biggest advice is focus on the health. Don't pay attention so much to the scale. In fact, I weigh once a week just because I am tracking my journey and everybody's watching. And I want to show people that sometimes you have scale victories and sometimes you have victories that have nothing to do with weight loss. And they have everything to do with your blood sugar or your ketones or your pants fitting better or, a million other things that can be what we call non-scale victories. Although I had a follower say, hey, let's get rid of that. Let's just not call it let's just call it a victory. So that's what I'm going to start doing. It's just a victory. But stop focusing on weight loss. If you heal your body, if you heal it from the inside and you heal your metabolism and you retrain your body on how to process food, the weight loss will come naturally. It can't help but come. That's how our bodies are designed. And we have to let our bodies be what they are and do what they do. And we have to trust that our bodies are going to do the thing that is best for them. And all we have to do is give it the fuel, give it the tools it needs to do the things that it was meant to do and it was created to do, and we will thrive. It's inevitable. So I know it's a really hard mindset to switch over from, focusing on the weight loss, focusing on calories in, calories out. No, we have to cut that out. And it was really hard for me because that was so ingrained in my brain. But the minute I switched my thinking, the minute I turned it around and I said, you know what, I'm not going to focus on weight loss anymore. I'm going to focus on my blood sugar. I'm going to focus on ketones. I'm going to focus on healing my metabolism, becoming fat adapted, and being in a constant state of ketosis. And once I did that, you guys, it all flipped around. The weight started coming off again. I started noticing differences when I was eating. I can eat, strawberries now, and my body's like, whatever, I didn't even see those carbs. They don't even notice them. Very small amounts. I mean, I'm not healed completely yet. So if I were to eat like a plate of pasta, obviously that's going to spike me up pretty good. And I won't be doing that. But but little things like that, dairy, you have to experiment with things. I figured out I can't have heavy cream, but I have no problem with cream cheese or sour cream. Weird, but that's the way it is. I can have hard cheeses. Now, I don't have them in, excess. I have very small amounts because I don't want to stall because, I am in perimenopause and sometimes your hormones and dairy can stall your weight loss, and we don't want that to happen. Even though we're not focusing on weight loss, we still don't want to hinder it at all, right? So that's my advice with my first video here, my intro video, is quit focusing on the weight loss. Just stop thinking about how much you weigh because that's only a fraction of what's going on in your body. Weight gain and weight loss, those are side effects of health. Those are side effects of metabolic health and insulin, either if you're insulin resistant, which means you are either pre-diabetic or you're diabetic, or you're insulin sensitive, which means you have a healthy insulin level, you have a healthy insulin response, and you have a healthy metabolism. And that's what we want, you guys. That's the key. And once your metabolism is healthy and you're starting to become insulin sensitive, that's when the magic really kicks in. That's when it really happens for you. So that's when you start to see that side effect of the weight loss. So trust me, guys. Like I said, if you're just starting out, do that and you will see a huge difference. So I'm going to end this video on a thank you for coming and watching. I appreciate it. I'm going to be posting videos probably almost every day. I really want to document my entire journey. Some of them will be short, some of them will be long. I want to start bringing people on and talking to new people and new friends that I've met, getting different perspectives and testimonials from people who have, used zero carb or low carb to change their life. And the more people I meet, the more I realize how miraculous it really is. And if you're on social media, find a carnivore group and join it, because I'm telling you guys right now, the carnivore community and the no carb community is the most loving, accepting, wonderful, amazing community I have ever had the privilege of being a part of. I mean, they are so supportive. I have never seen a community rally behind everybody so much as the carnivore community. They're cheering people on left and right, and everybody, it doesn't matter who you are, what you look like, how much you weigh, how unhealthy you are, how much money you have. None of that matters. None of it matters. All that matters is that you are doing it and you are trying to heal yourself and you are working at it, and they are there supporting you and cheering you on. And that is huge, because if you're going to be successful, you've got to have a support system of some kind. And some of us, like me, I don't really have anybody. I have my children, but they're doing their own thing and they're like, yeah, mom, that's great, but they don't give me that support that the carnivore community does, that constant, like, yes, we're so proud of you. You've got this. You're doing it. Wow. That's what you need. That's what we all need. And so I just want you guys to find a good carnivore community and join it and interact and engage and start learning all about it. Even if you've been doing carnivore for a while, it's still wonderful to join that group and to be part of it. So again, I just want to say thank you, everybody, all of the people that have followed me on X. And my X is on my profile here. So if you're not following me there, it's the same name, Miss Carney B. I thought that was a fun little twist, instead of Cardi B, it's Carney B. I am the Bacon Queen. I couldn't find a shirt that said Bacon Queen. I can only find one that said Bacon Princess. So for now, I'm the Bacon Princess, but I will soon be upgrading to Bacon Queen. And so I hope everybody has a wonderful day today, wherever you're watching this from. And again, thank you so much for your support. And make sure you do all the YouTube things and click like and subscribe and, comment. I love to interact with everybody. I answer every single comment. And if you guys have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask in the comment section. Share this with anybody that you know, and make sure you hit that little bell and so you get my new videos. And again, I will be seeing you guys very soon, and have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your day. Thank you guys. Bye. Mwah.